From the depths of the North Atlantic, a story of tragedy and human endeavor continues to fascinate us. The RMS Titanic, once believed to be unsinkable, met a tragic end on a cold April night, forever etching its name in maritime history. We know the story, the ship that couldn't sink, the iceberg, and the tragic loss of life. But the ocean holds its secrets close. The Titanic story is not just one of disaster, but of innovation, human stories, and enduring legacy. In the depths where the wreckage lies are whispers of forgotten details and untold narratives. Join me as we journey beyond the familiar narrative and uncover the hidden truths of the Titanic. We'll delve into the lesser-known facts, the human stories, and the enduring mysteries that continue to captivate our imaginations over a century later. The Titanic's story is often told through the lens of its tragic sinking, but what of the events leading up to that fateful night? Consider the near miss, just days before when the Titanic nearly collided with another ship in port. And what of the decisions made that night, the missed warnings, the reliance on outdated safety regulations? The story goes deeper still. Did you know that the Titanic's radio operator just hours before the collision had received numerous iceberg warnings? These untold tales offer a glimpse into the complex web of events that led to the Titanic's demise. The RMS Titanic was a marvel of engineering, a floating city that pushed the boundaries of technology. Deep within its hull, a network of watertight compartments promised to keep the ship afloat even in the event of a breach. This, combined with its double-bottom construction, gave the Titanic an air of invincibility. The ship's communication systems were equally impressive. Powerful wireless transmitters allowed operators to send and receive messages across vast distances, connecting passengers to loved ones on shore. The Titanic also boasted a sophisticated electrical system, providing power for everything from lighting to ventilation. Electric elevators, a novelty at the time, whisked passengers between decks in luxurious comfort. But even the most advanced technology of the time had its limitations. The Titanic's watertight compartments, while impressive, extended only to a certain height, leaving the ship vulnerable to flooding in the event of a significant breach. And the ship's lifeboats, while plentiful by the standards of the day, were woefully inadequate for the sheer number of passengers and crew on board. The Titanic was more than just a ship, it was a microcosm of society, carrying passengers from all walks of life. In first class, wealthy industrialists and socialites mingled in opulent surroundings. Second class offered a more modest but still comfortable experience. In steerage, hundreds of immigrants huddled together in cramped quarters, their hopes pinned on a new life in America. The crew, too, represented a diverse cross-section of humanity. From Captain Smith to the hard-working firemen, each played a vital role in keeping the Titanic afloat. These stories paint a vivid tapestry of life aboard the Titanic, a reminder that tragedy can strike anyone. In the early hours of April 15, 1912, the unthinkable happened. The unsinkable Titanic, ripped open by an iceberg, began its descent into the icy depths. Chaos and confusion reigned as passengers and crew alike grappled with the terrifying reality of the situation. The ship's band, in a final act of courage and compassion, continued to play, their music calming the terrified passengers as the lifeboats were lowered. As the Titanic's stern rose higher and higher, the ocean claimed the ship, breaking it apart and sending it to its final resting place 2.5 miles below the surface. The Carpathia, alerted by the Titanic's distress calls, arrived on the scene hours later to find a scene of unimaginable devastation. Over 1,500 souls perished in the icy waters, their dreams and aspirations lost beneath the waves. The survivors, forever marked by the experience, would carry the memories of that night with them for the rest of their lives. The sinking of the Titanic sent shockwaves around the world. Newspapers were filled with harrowing accounts of the disaster, and the public was captivated by the stories of heroism, sacrifice, and loss. The tragedy led to significant changes in maritime safety regulations, including the requirement for ships to carry enough lifeboats for all passengers and crew, and the establishment of the International Ice Patrol to monitor icebergs in the North Atlantic. The Titanic's story has been told and retold in countless books, films, and documentaries, each generation finding new meaning in the tragedy. Today, the wreckage of the Titanic lies on the seabed, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of the human spirit. Even now, over a century later, new discoveries are being made about the Titanic, thanks to advances in deep-sea exploration. These discoveries continue to shed light on the ship's final moments and the lives of those on board. The Titanic was one of 3 Olympic-class liners built by the White Star Line. Her sister ships, the Olympic and the Britannic, shared her iconic design and luxurious accommodations. The Olympic, launched a year before the Titanic, enjoyed a long and illustrious career, even surviving a collision with a British warship during World War I. The Britannic, completed after the Titanic disaster, was requisitioned as a hospital ship during the war, and sank in the Aegean Sea after striking a mine. While the Olympic and Britannic shared the Titanic's grandeur and technological advancements, they also inherited some of her design flaws. The Olympic in particular experienced several incidents involving her steering gear, highlighting the challenges of maneuvering such massive vessels. Despite their shared lineage, the stories of the Olympic and Britannic are often overshadowed by the Titanic's tragic fate. Yet, their histories offer valuable insights into the evolution of shipbuilding and the risks inherent in pushing the boundaries of technology. Among the passengers on the Titanic were a surprising number of canine companions. First-class passengers often traveled with their beloved pets, and the Titanic's kennels housed a variety of breeds, from pampered Pekingese to stately Great Danes. The dogs of the Titanic, like their human counterparts, faced an uncertain fate on that fateful night. Some were fortunate enough to be loaded into lifeboats with their owners, while others perished with the ship. One particularly poignant story is that of the 3 dogs owned by the Carter family. 2 of their dogs, a King Charles Spaniel and an Airedale, were rescued, while their beloved Pekingese sadly went down with the ship. The presence of dogs on the Titanic serves as a reminder that the tragedy touched the lives of not only humans, but also their animal companions. In the chaos and terror of the Titanic's sinking, survival often came down to sheer luck. Some passengers, finding themselves closer to lifeboats, were able to secure a place, while others, farther down in the ship, faced a much bleaker fate. One such story is that of Charles Jugan, the ship's baker. As the Titanic sank, Jugan reportedly helped load women and children into lifeboats, even giving up his own spot. When he finally decided to save himself, he found himself clinging to the railing as the ship went down. Remarkably, he survived for hours in the freezing water, clinging to an overturned lifeboat, until he was eventually rescued. Another tale of luck involves Violet Jessop, a stewardess who had the misfortune of surviving not one, but 2 maritime disasters. Jessop had previously worked on the Titanic's sister ship, the Olympic, when it collided with a warship in 1911. She survived that incident only to find herself aboard the Titanic a year later. Despite the odds, she managed to escape the sinking ship once again, securing a spot in a lifeboat. These stories of survival against all odds serve as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the unpredictable nature of fate. In the chaos of the Titanic's sinking, survival often came down to sheer luck. Some passengers, closer to lifeboats, secured a place, while others, farther down, faced a bleaker fate. Charles Jugan, the ship's baker, helped load women and children into lifeboats, even giving up his own spot. He clung to the railing as the ship went down. Remarkably, he survived hours in freezing water, clinging to an overturned lifeboat until he was rescued. For decades, the Titanic's final resting place remained a mystery. Then, in 1985, a joint American-French expedition, led by Dr. Robert Ballard, located the wreckage on the ocean floor. The discovery of the Titanic's wreck was a watershed moment, reigniting public fascination with the tragedy and providing a tangible link to the past. Using remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, explorers were able to capture the first images of the Titanic's remains, revealing a haunting tableau of decay and grandeur. The ship's bow, remarkably intact, lay embedded in the seabed, while the stern, ripped apart during the sinking, lay scattered across a wide debris field. Among the debris, explorers found personal artifacts, furniture, and even a child's shoe, poignant reminders of the lives lost on that fateful night. The exploration of the Titanic's wreck has provided invaluable insights into the ship's design, the events surrounding the sinking, and the lives of those on board. However, it has also sparked ethical debates about the preservation of the site and the recovery of artifacts. As the Titanic sank beneath the waves, the ship's band, led by Wallace Hartley, continued to play. Their music, a mix of waltzes, ragtime tunes and hymns, provided comfort and solace to the terrified passengers. Eyewitness accounts differ on the exact songs played in the final moments, but some of the most commonly mentioned include Nearer, My God, To Thee, Autumn, and Song d'Automne. The band's decision to play on, even as the ship sank around them, is a testament to their courage, compassion, and unwavering dedication to their craft. Their music, a symbol of hope and defiance in the face of unimaginable adversity, continues to resonate with people around the world. After the sinking, all 8 members of the band perished. Their bodies, if recovered, were never identified. Today, a memorial to the Titanic's musicians stands in Southampton, England, honoring their sacrifice and the enduring power of music. The Titanic's story, a tapestry of innovation, human drama, and tragedy, continues to captivate our imaginations over a century later. From the ship's groundbreaking technology to the personal stories of those on board, the Titanic's legacy is one of enduring fascination and remembrance. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of the Titanic, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more captivating historical content. And for those eager to delve even deeper into the Titanic's mysteries, check out the links in the description below for additional resources, including archival footage, survivor testimonies, and virtual tours of the wreck.